I just got this Alesis Strata Prime set up. And instead of doing an unboxing and review, I figured I'd take a deeper dive and show you some of the lesser known features on this kit. Like, did you know you could hook up a Bluetooth keyboard to this thing? Subscribe. That was just an example. I promise the rest are better. So I present to you 10 features of the Alesis Strata Prime that you probably didn't know about. Also, big thanks to Alesis for sponsoring this video. Number 1. Let's say you're building a kit within the module and are trying to find the perfect snare sound. Instead of loading the sample onto the drum and testing it like this, you can audition the sounds by tapping the text from the left to the right. Doing this tap slide, we'll call it, allows you to hear the dynamic range of the drum, which is super handy for something like a snare, since you can hear all the ghost notes. And of course, this feature saves you a bunch of time. Number 2. You know, it's been a while since I've done a Will It Stack segment, so let's test out some stacks. Let's grab this cymbal, click on stacks. Let's make the first layer a crash. 17-inch Peisty. Let's go to stack 2. Now let's find a China. 19-inch Holy China. Now the third layer, let's do like a splash. So now all of these cymbals are stacked onto one cymbal.
But Dave, that's not a real cymbal stack, that's just a bunch of sounds layered on top of each other.
Well, check this out. If you come down here to dampening and attack and mess with those, you can really get this to sound like an actual cymbal stack. And with just a little bit of tweaking, we have a pretty legit stack. And the cool thing about this is you can stack really any sound onto any pad, so you can make some pretty weird and pretty funky kits. I call this the Rotobond kit. There's Rototom stacked with Octobonds. This one's called Please For The Love of God Give Me Less Cowbell. Or more practically, you could layer some snare sounds together. Or you could add like a shaker or tambourine to the hi-hat pedal. Or if you wanted the most epic ending to a fill, you could layer a gong, a china, and a timpani together on a cymbal. I could mess around with this for days and still not get bored, but let's move on to number 3. Everybody loves effects, right? Maybe that's a bit too many effects. Naturally, to turn everything down, you would just turn everything down. But instead, if you double tap, it sets it back to 0. It's that easy. So let me reset everything back to 0. And with everything at 0, we should have no effects. Number 4. On the topic of effects, instead of adding reverb, try moving the mic positions. Of course, it's not the same as adding reverb, but does give you that little bit of spatial sound, especially when moving the room mics. And yes, I keep saying that I'm changing the position of the mic because when you adjust these, you're actually changing the position of the mic and not just the level of the mic within the mix. When these samples were being recorded, they moved the mics to different spots of the room in order to achieve a more roomy sound, which just goes to show how much time and effort was put into recording the samples that come on this kit. For this, I have the tight acrylic kit loaded, which, judging by the name of the kit and also what you just heard, it's a pretty tight sounding kit. But now, if I go to Kit Edit, click on Mics, I'm going to change the position of the room mics on the snare and the toms. Number 5, another time-saving tip. I have this empty kit loaded up, and considering how much I love having a nipple gong on my right crash, I went ahead and added it to my favorites. So let's say I really like having this pearl octobon. I can just click on the star, and now that's added to my faves. So now let's go back yonder to the kits and load up a random one. And now if I want my octobon on this tom, I go to faves, and there it is. Number 6. If you've seen any video about this kit, you probably know that there's a mixer and you can add 3 effects on each channel. What you probably didn't know is that you can add 3 more effects on each of the mics. Just as an example, on the inside kick mic, you could add a compressor for more attack. On the kick out mic, you could add EQ for more body. Then on the snare bottom mic, you could add a compressor for that extra snariness. Number 7. Hi-hats, the bane of E-kits. Another popular talking point about this kit is the hi-hat calibration. You just follow the steps on the screen and it is what it is. Unless you go to hi-hat and advanced. Here you can adjust everything about the hi-hat pedal just in case the calibration doesn't give you the pedal that you were expecting. I have my settings dialed into how I like, so I'm not going to change anything, but the 2 main ones you want to look at are the pedal bottom and pedal top. So if your hi-hat is acting a little funky, then definitely check out the advanced trigger settings. Number 8, crosstalk. If you don't know what this means, it's when you hit your floor tom, for example, and you hear the crash cymbal trigger. In most cases, the fix for this involves you going into the pad settings and changing the threshold and the sensitivity and the this and the that of each individual pad, but on the Prime module, it does everything for you. Well, not exactly everything, but close to it. So click on Trigger Edit, click on the drum that's giving you an issue, which in my case is Tom 4. And if you don't know which drum it is, you can hit them and it'll show you which one is which. Then if we go to Learn Crosstalk, all we have to do is beat on Tom 4. Then you want to make sure that the crosstalk filter is on and click save. I gotta say that is a lot easier and a lot less confusing than going in and changing all of these settings manually. Number 9, This one's a bit of a stretch, but I needed to get this list up to 10 things. When you're unboxing the kit, you'll see these bass drum spurs that have these little condoms, we'll call them, on the spikes, which just so happen to look a lot like these things, which are vacuum caps. So, if your engine has a vacuum leak... Oh no, my engine has a vacuum leak. Just go buy an Alesis Strata Prime, take the little spike protector off, and plug up that vacuum leak. Number 10. This one's also a bit of a stretch, and also I don't even think this is a feature, I kinda just found this out by accident. But it should be more useful than the last one at least. Maybe. If you've ever played in a concert band, musical, percussion ensemble, marching band, etc., you've probably had to do this effect with the cymbal. And guess what? You can do it on this kit, and you don't even need a washer. Just use your fingernail. You can even do a gong scrape. Just be sure to use the stick sample. Hopefully that was useful to someone. I had a lot of fun with this kit, there's a lot you can do with it, and hopefully you learned something new about it. But I gotta pack this thing up and send it back, which usually I'm not that sad about, but I am gonna miss this kit.